Since the beginning of higher education in the United States, and really in the world, academics have focused on a single discipline. It wasn't until the 1900s that interdisciplinarity became an option, and it wasn't until the late 1900s that interdisciplinarity became popular. The Integrative Studies program here at SIUE is unique in that there are very few of these programs. They are growing in popularity, yet interdisciplinary studies is relatively new when we consider the age of individual disciplines. One of the challenges with focusing on a single discipline is that it simplifies complex problems and phenomena. The real world is much more complex than the studies disciplinarians create in their labs. There are two broad categories of problems that we as humans face today. Those that require a specialized disciplinary approach, and those that require a broader interdisciplinary approach. For example, in the West and Southwest, the residents are dealing with a scarcity of fresh water. In order to understand this problem, we could look at the depletion rates of freshwater aquifers, which would be relevant to the earth sciences. We could also focus on the destruction of wetlands, which is related to biology. And we could look at different types of pollutants, which would be the focus of chemistry. We could look at it from a political science perspective as well, and take a look at existing or needed legislation. We could look at it from an economic perspective to understand the costs of more regulations. And we could also turn to the environmental sciences to consider their best practices as well. We could look at it from a psychological perspective to understand how the scarcity impacts individuals' moods, productivity, motivation, life satisfaction, and so on. We could look at it from a sociological perspective to better understand how groups of people contribute, how they make decisions about the issue, and how they could contribute to the resolution of the problem. With this one example, we've already identified 8 different disciplines that could help us understand the problem in a more comprehensive way. If we focused on only one of these things, we wouldn't get the whole picture. We wouldn't truly understand the problem of freshwater scarcity. It's important to note that disciplinarity and interdisciplinarity are friends. They're complementary. Interdisciplinarians are not trying to do away with the disciplines. The disciplines are foundational to the unique purpose of interdisciplinarity. Interdisciplinary studies is a cognitive process, a way of thinking that draws on disciplinary perspectives and then integrates those insights to advance the understanding of a complex problem with the goal of applying that information and solving the problem. Without disciplinary perspectives, interdisciplinarians could not do their work. Let's take a closer look at disciplinary inadequacy. The view that disciplines by themselves are inadequate, insufficient to address complex problems. Why might a single discipline be inadequate to solve a complex problem like homelessness or poverty? Here are some of those reasons. 1, disciplines lack breadth of perspective. They are essentially silos, single lenses through which the professionals in that discipline view the world. 2, the disciplines are unwilling or resistant to focusing on broader, more comprehensive solutions. 3, the disciplines underestimate their ability to solve these complex problems. One of the assumptions behind many of these disciplines is that they have all the knowledge necessary to solve the problem. Whatever the problem may be, they have all the knowledge to solve that problem. There is no need to extend beyond the boundaries of the discipline. Of course, you will learn this semester that that is not true in many cases. 4, the disciplines don't have the necessary tools, the cognitive tools, the methodological tools to gather the necessary information and come to accurate conclusions. Why? Because of 1, 2, and 3. And number 5, integrative strategies are needed to gain a comprehensive understanding, but the disciplines refuse to use these strategies. As you interact with the world, consider the complexity of the problems you face on a daily basis, whether it's traffic congestion or inflation. Many of these problems can be examined from your 2 disciplines as well as 15 others. Imagine if those disciplines came together, sat around a table, and discussed that problem as a group. Imagine how much further they would get in the resolution of that problem by working together. That is what interdisciplinary studies essentially is, working together across disciplines to solve problems. Underlying the assumption of disciplinary inadequacy is the notion that disciplinary approaches are narrow, partial, and biased.